Hi everybody, welcome to Dandelion Cottage and Watercolor Wednesday. I'm Leslie Watkins. Oops, sorry. Let me get myself situated here. Hi everybody, I hope you're well. So I just finished the weekend in Norfolk and prior to that the month-long pop-up shop. So I'm still kind of unpacking. I've got a lot of boxes and things I don't know where they are. But today I thought what I would do is I would share with you how to paint a watercolor sky, because I got a lot of comments on my cloud painting studies that I did over the weekend. And also I have a very exciting announcement to make, so stay tuned for that. But let me share with you what I have here. So while I was at the weekend in Norfolk location, I had a spectacular view of Haystack Mountain, and it was kind of a gray, stormy day, the last day, which was perfect for creating cloud paintings. Excuse me, I'm so used to painting flowers that I automatically say that. But I did these very quickly, so these little studies I didn't spend any longer than 10 or 15 minutes on, and you really can't spend much longer than that because in this particular case the wind was blowing the clouds, so they were constantly moving and changing and creating all sorts of wonderful light effects. And there's one more in the corner down here. Okay, so I thought what I would share with you today would be how you could section off some little pieces of paper, as I did here, or just use your sketchbook and do some cloud studies, because they're a lot of fun to do. You can look at John Singer Sargent's watercolors of cloud studies. They're very inspirational. Look at John Constable, the great English landscape painter, did beautiful skies. And there are many others. Those are just a couple of the people that spring to mind. But you don't need a lot to do this. So before we get started here, I'm going to show you my kit that I used during the Win Weekend. Win Weekend, by the way, stands for Weekend in Norfolk, and it's held twice a year here in Norfolk, Connecticut, where I live. And it's usually on the first weekend in August, and then there's another one in the winter, because we also have a lot of winter activities that go on here. So if you're somebody who likes to ice skate or are interested in curling, we have a curling club. And there are wonderful trails here for cross-country skiing, for snowshoeing, anything you like that during the winter. And then, of course, during the summer, there's music and activities and all sorts of things. So it was a very fun weekend, and I really enjoyed myself. All right, so I'm going to just move this aside for a minute, and I'm just going to share with you what my very basic kit looks like. And there's not much to it, but I love it. And the reason I love it is because it's so handy to bring with me. So I've got my watercolor tin that looks like this. This is just a folding palette. Okay, it's got two areas for mixing, and that's the reason why I particularly like this one, is because it has that extra mixing area. And then inside I have full pans of 8 different colors. Now when you tune in to see me do my watercolor videos, I'm usually just using the 3 primaries, okay, the yellow, red, and blue. But in my kit, I also have some additional colors, and these are mostly earth colors. And this kit is based on the British School of Watercolor Painting. And you can Google British watercolor masters, and you will see some spectacular paintings. And you'll also learn that those painters didn't use many more colors besides this, and some of them used less colors than this. So, so this is my very basic kit. I also have a nice brush in here. So this is a travel brush, meaning that it has the handle that acts as a case and also extends the handle. This one is a number 8, a Skoda brush, which I really like. And what you're looking for is a good size brush. I wouldn't want to go any smaller than an 8. A 10 would be fine. And you're looking for a brush that has a nice sharp point. So I think you can see that that forms a very nice point. And if you have a brush that forms a nice point, as this one does, then you have a lot of versatility with it. You can get a broad stroke as well as a very fine stroke. The other nice thing about this case is that it has a hole at the end. I don't know if you can see that. There we go. So that is going to allow your brush to dry while it's inside the case here. All right, now I'm just checking my settings. I want to make sure that I'm on. And that looks good. Okay. So, other things that you may want to have to hand are a spritzer. I like to use my spritzer, especially if I'm painting out of doors and it's a sunny, dry day. You might want to moisten your paper so you have the opportunity to blend colors better. And then I have a container of water off to the side. I also have a sponge, and I just use this to remove excess water from the brush. And I've got a paper towel. And in my kit, I have a cotton bar mop. And these are very handy to have to hand. I usually keep this in my lap if I'm sitting, or if I'm standing, I'll hold it in my hand and I'll hold my paint box just like that. There is a little thumb hole on the bottom so that I can mix my colors in one hand and paint with the other hand. All right, so let's get that cloud study back up again. I'm going to start with a quick spritz. Just get a little moisture on there. And I'm using a slightly large, well, this is an interesting thing. So this is a number 7 brush. The travel brush I just showed you is called a number 8. But you will find that there is a difference of size depending on the maker. So this particular brush, this is a Winsor & Newton brush, and it's a little bit bigger, even though it's listed as a smaller. And I know it's a little confusing, but it is confusing because there's no standardization as far as the brush sizes go. So I'm going to start with a little bit of blue. And this is raw sienna. And I'm just going to tone that blue down a little bit, warm it up a little bit. And I'm mixing a very light mixture, and I'm just going to drag that across the page, across the top. And when I had my board, this plexiglass on the easel, I had it slanted. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put something under here so that I have a little bit of a slant, and that's going to help to direct the movement of the paint. And the other thing that I have in mind is that the light, or the sun, is coming from this direction. In this case it was west, and is illuminating the left hand or west side of the sky, and then as you go towards the other side of the sky, it's going to get a little bit darker as it goes away from the light. And I'm going to make a slightly darker mixture and just get that in there while the paper is still damp. Alright, so there is a very wet sky. I can control the amount of chroma in that blue by adding more of this red color to get a beautiful gray, and that's wonderful for the bottoms of the clouds that I'm depicting here. So I can just put a little shadow area underneath those clouds like so, and maybe we have some clouds going off into the distance, and because they're further away they're going to look a little bit cooler, so a little more blue in those clouds. And then finally I have my mountain, and so for my mountain color, I'm just sort of cleaning up my palette as I go. I'm going to take a little bit of yellow and a little more blue, because this mountain isn't so far away. It still has a little bit of green in it. If it was further away it would appear bluer. And then I'm going to just kind of get that started. Now I know that the paper is a little bit too damp right now to hold an edge, but that's okay because I'm going to take advantage of the moisture in the paper to go ahead and get these beautiful soft washes that are all blending so nicely together. So there is a very quick initial wash for the picture. While it's still this wet, if I want to add a little more violet, let's say, so I could take some of my blue with a drop of red and get a kind of a blue violet, I can mix that into my mountain color and just increase the cool shadow side of the mountain as it goes away from the light. All right, and then the last thing I want to do while this is still nice and juicy is I'm going to add a little more yellow to my green mixture. I don't want it to be too green. I still want it to be very much on the blue side because I want to stay back in the picture plane, but I want to begin to bring the side of this mountain forward to me. And I can do that by using what we call temperature. And I talk much, much more about all of these different things in the Watercolor Card Club. And I'm going to be mentioning something in just a minute, so stay tuned for that. So I'm happy with the way this looks so far. I'm going to leave it alone. I'm going to let this dry. Maybe put one more stroke in my sky here because the paint will dry a little bit lighter than how it appears. So if I just add a little more of these stormy shadows on the bottom of this cloud overhead. I can get a little more drama in my sky. Okay, so that looks pretty good. All right, I'm going to put my brush down. I'm going to leave this for the minute. And I'm going to put this aside. And tell you that there will be a special announcement very soon for the unlaunching of the new Watercolor Card Club. And part of that is going to be a starter kit. And in that starter kit is going to be a travel palette like the one I just showed you here. Okay, so you're going to get one similar to this, not this exact style, but about the same size. I will have a brush and some paints to get you started. There'll be some good quality watercolor paper, 140-pound block of watercolor paper. Actually, they're single sheets. They're not in a block, but it's a pack of watercolor paper. And some other goodies in there that I think you're going to love. And to kick off the new improved Watercolor Card Club, which will launch in October, on October 1st, I'm going to have a very special collection of watercolor boxes that are going to feature my brand color, and they're going to be inscribed with my logo. And so I think I'm going to have 10 of those. So for the first 10 people who get subscribed to the new Watercolor Card Club, they're going to be able to get those special boxes in their starter kit. And right now, I'm just putting together a waiting list so I can see how many people are interested in joining and how many kits I'm ultimately going to have ready to go. So you can get onto that wait list right now. And the way you can do that is by subscribing to Notes from Dandelion Cottage. That's my newsletter, and in the next edition I'm going to be having all of the information about the unboxing, what's going to be in the subscription box, what the year's going to look like, because I have a year's worth of lessons that I'm going to be sharing with you, and what some of those surprises are and how you can get in early for the very special. We have to come up, I don't even have a name for all these things yet, but I will come up with a name for the special Dandelion Cottage Design watercolor kit. So please make sure that you subscribe. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure that you subscribe to the channel. And if you're on Facebook, like what you see and follow so that you won't miss any of the upcoming announcements. And check in the description under the YouTube video for the link for how you can get on the wait list and subscribe to Notes from Dandelion Cottage. And then on Facebook, you'll be able to find the sign up button above in the banner. So that's what I wanted to share with you today. I hope you get outside and start painting and do some cloud studies. This is a great time of year. And I know there's a lot of storms going on around the country, so you're going to see some dramatic skies. So this is your chance to get out there and start practicing some of those clouds that you see. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope to see you soon. And make sure you subscribe soon, because that announcement's going to be going out in the next couple of days. So stay well, stay happy, stay creative, and I will see you next time.